too quick.
Mark, how's camp, how's it gone for you so far with it? Do you feel like you're getting done or showing the coaches what you feel like you can bring to the table?
Camps are going well. Everyone always asks how I'm doing. Happy to be where I'm at. It's a place I've always wanted to be, so no complaints on that part. The biggest thing for me is since the first day of camp, I told myself I don't have to, because there was a lot of talk about, yeah, it's a different game between EuroLeague and the NBA, which of course it is, but for me, I just need to play basketball and do what I do. I think the way I play basketball on both sides of the ball works in either league on any continent, and I think it's just for me to go out there and do it with confidence, do it with speed, execution, enthusiasm, and I'll be just fine.
I mean, obviously, you've shown the ability to go inside and out. Is there things here where you feel like maybe one part of the skill set maybe is a better fit for the group than the other, or is it do both whenever required?
It's just, again, that was the part. So sometimes my worst, when they ask you to do an interview, it's like, what's the worst quality about yourself? And then you got to say something. Like, my worst thing is me overthinking, and that's something, what you just asked is something that would be me overthinking basketball. I don't need to worry about that. I just need to play basketball. When I'm open, shoot the ball. When I'm not, try to keep the ball moving. Coach Ott talked to me yesterday. We had a film session, and he came up and mentioned me about getting more involved in ghosting action, because I'm really good at reading screens, reading switches, knowing how to play. And the way I just like to play basketball, it helps create second, third, fourth options instead of one action and get stagnant and we say make a play and play hero ball. I'm able to keep the possession going. So that's the same thing I did in Europe. I just have to do it here. The only difference is instead of Fenerbahce, it says Suns.
Another thing, defensively, that you've been able to guard multiple positions. How much did you look at the league now that's what it is? Like, there's so much switching that you almost have to be able to guard 2 or 3 or 4 because of the way the game is played.
For sure. That was something I did a lot in Europe. Again, different player style, different talent, obviously, but in essence, you still have guys who are smaller and quicker than you. You have guys who, so it's the same thing more or less. But just going out there and doing that, relying on my instincts, my intelligence of scouting reports and knowing who I'm guarding against, knowing our team defense and our goals. And then the same thing happens on offense. Since it is a switching league, again, this is something that Coach Ott and the staff has mentioned to me before. I'm really good playing in switches because I understand what people try to do, and I have, through my years of basketball around the world, I have tricks, instincts, triggers, and cues on how to play through that. So as long as I just play Nigel's basketball and don't worry about trying to play in the NBA, I'll be fine.
Nigel, what stood out to you, just the way that Coach Ott has been running practice, getting to see it? It looks like he's letting the younger guys kind of play through their mistakes, just letting you guys play free out there a little bit.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. The staff, we're very important on details, getting things right. We have a drill called defensive shell perfect drill, where you have to do every action on the court perfectly in order for it to be a complete rep. So that attention to detail is huge. And then, as you mentioned, letting everyone play through their mistakes. And he mentioned that after practice about once we get to a point sometimes throughout these games, long season, is going to feel like there's moments of drowning, and you got to figure out how to right the ship, how to get everybody back on board. And that's something he mentioned to Nick and Colin, guys who have been here, played games, and that's something that he's wanting us to know. Again, the group that's going to be going in from the bench, especially being able to play through mistakes, being able to right the ship, being able to get back on track as fast as you can.
Nigel, I'm curious for you on the offensive side of the floor, with being a player that can do so many different things, how have you seen Ott's kind of spacing principles put you in position to play to multiple dynamics of your strength?
I love it, honestly. I love the offense. It's predicated on ball movement, reading. Guy drives this way, what do you do? Guy drives this way, what do you do? Defense does this, what do you do? And that's a lot of what the principles that I had these past 3 years, especially these past 2 years where I played really, really, really good basketball. So I like it. I like the system. I think that once we get – it's harder because we know what we're doing, So we're going against each other. We've been here. Some of us have been here the rookie's been here for 3 months now. I've been here for about a month and a half. And then we know exactly what we're running. We know the names of what we're running, so it's kind of hard to find the gaps and openings is easy. I think it'll be a lot better, a lot easier, a lot smoother once we go against an opponent who's not as familiar with our sets, cues, reads, and the way we play.
Defensively, what have you kind of made of the general personnel that you all have on that end? Because it feels like you have a handful of players that are like size at that 4 spot, similar to you. Y'all can kind of do a lot of different things.
I think it's huge for us to be as mobile as we are on defense, as similar, if you will, to have guys, as you mentioned, that fit this archetype of body type, defensive-minded mentality, and to be able to switch through. I think it's good for us. It doesn't allow us to be, picked on. You're not just going to call guys out. We're able to, with our athleticism, with our IQ of playing, we're able to help. And coach doesn't like to say help. We're able to support. We want to support, as B. Randall says. We want to support guys and make sure that everyone's flying around and helping. And we all have a good mentality of sometimes it's almost too much, especially you see it with Ryan. Like Ryan loves I'm going to take my matchup, and sometimes it's like, hey, Ryan, we call switch. You can switch. It's all right. So when we all have this mindset of like, I want to guard my guy, I don't want to be scored on, I don't want to be the one that let the team down, I think that's a great mindset for all of us to have.
Have you spoken with Jordan about, I guess, some of the things that you did do over in Europe as far as defensively in particular? Because I feel like a couple of days ago you mentioned there was something you brought up and he wanted to dive deeper into.
There's a lot of stuff that we've talked about. We've had a lot of conversations. One of the things I mentioned, not for us not to get confused, is a way to guard ghost screens and slip screens. We had a system where I was talking with the staff last year, and it's like a way to limit the chances, that you can be affected by that. Because in the NBA, there's a lot of first action didn't happen, and it's just someone's running by, they tap you on the butt, try to cause confusion. Talked about ways to guard, like the post, off ball. So there's a lot of things that, he's asked me that we've talked about. Some of it's not applicable because there's defense for 3 seconds, or there's so much space on the court. But all in all, there's a lot of things you can extract from the European game and apply it to here. And going back to the first question, since I sat down, the biggest thing for me is just to play Nigel's basketball. I think, again, they brought me here for a reason. And the staff called me, BG called me, and Coach Ott called me, and they told me what they like and what they expect of me is just to be Nigel. So just do what got Nigel here. I don't need to figure out how to play in the NBA. Just play basketball. I feel I do a great job of making winning plays, trying to help the team win, being a positive voice and influence in the locker room, and just carry all of that with my work ethic and character and showing up every day. I'll be fine.
One last one for you. You kind of talked about trying to guard against the switches. I assume you're talking about touch principles for different teams and how to kind of counter that. Have you, from the officials that have been here at scrimmages for you all, been able to kind of get a feel for the level of physicality that's allowed? I feel like the physicality part is a part to help kind of steer the game.
Yeah, so we wanted to establish an identity, if you will, and it's something that's a very real thing. This game is refereed by humans, extremely talented at their job. They always are under critique, but they're the best in the world at officiating and refereeing these games. But at the end of the day, they're human. So when you have teams that have an identity, the human instinct goes, okay, I know this team plays aggressive, so I'm going to let them play aggressive. You can't call 90 fouls. So we want to play, as coaches, staff talked about, we want to play to the limit. And once we have the officials in here, we're able to go. It's like, too much. Okay, cool. Too much. So now we have this gauge where we know how far we can go. And then throughout the season, these gentlemen are going to see us again and go, okay, we know exactly what to expect from them. We know how far they're going to go. And once you have that identity that your team is going to play this way, once you have this identity that you're a team that's going to play this way, the officials have to adjust, and then the opponent has to adjust to you instead of us adjusting.
I want to follow up with you.
Last one.
Your help and support word that your coach likes to use. Does saying support help the players in terms of camaraderie? Say, when I'm supporting the player, instead of helping the player to get him out of it.
Correct. The words are important. Not to go too deep, but when you go deep is when you find important things. But the things you say are important in the world. The way you speak, the things you say, what you speak is what you create. So saying the word help indicates something is wrong. And we don't want someone to feel like something is wrong out there. It's an imperfect game, beautiful game, imperfect game. So there's going to be times where you get beat or you slip, you fall, you make a bad read, and you need to be supported for that. And using the verbiage of support is indicative that we're all in this together and that we're all a unit. So the coaching staff and organization-wide has done a great job. It may seem corny or unimportant, but the things you say are extremely important, which is why answering your questions, I was telling you exactly how I need not to overthink. All I need to do is just play basketball and do what I do. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.